Okay, so here's this project. This is a wrench to take a filter off of a water treatment plant. It's a big filter, obviously. If you have like an under sink water purifying thing, like you know, one of those things that gives you clean water for your refrigerator ice and stuff, they have small ones like this, and they're actually pretty big filters, but the wrenches are like that big around. I'll tell you, this is a big one. This is part of the water system at the golf course. And one of the guys that takes care of it asked me if I could make a better one of these wrenches. They use it, but it's so hard because it's broken, and then, yeah. So I was digging around in my scrap. I found this drop. I have a bunch of aluminum drops from a shop. And lo and behold, that guy's just about the same size as that ring. So let me zoom it in a little bit. You can see what I have to do is cut this out to this outer diameter and then put these keys in, these key slots. And the guy told me I only needed 4 of them, but if I'm going to do 4, I might as well do more, you know. Let's see. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So it's like 12 keys. So anyway, how the hell do you machine a thing like this, you know? I mean, obviously, first I got to sand it all off and get it nice and clean. But holding it while you go in there, my lathe's not big enough to grab it on the outside. And, you know, so I could trepan it or whatever. But so here's the trick that I have another piece. This piece is big enough for me to rotate on my mill table with my rotating, you know. Man, I'm having a block. It's a Saturday. I've been working full time. Anyway, I've got the indexer for the mill. So what I did is I found the center of this. I don't know if you can see it at all on this camera. There. Let's see. There. See the arc? Shining right there. That guy is pretty much, get it right about there. That is the same diameter as this, where I'm going to want to start my milling action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this plate. I'll center this plate on the rotating table, and I have this all clean, and I will super glue this on at the exact spot, you know, that I'm going to cut. And then I'll machine this piece, but I won't go through this. I'll touch this as I make this cuts around here. But that way I can hold this odd piece to the table while I mill it. And then when I'm done, I just take this off and get the torch, get it hot, and the super glue will let go. So, yep, that's the plan. So what I got to do is get this all mounted on the table, you know, the rotating table. Indexer. There's another word for it that I am just having a total brain fart on. So then the plan is I'll get this guy cut for this profile, and then I'll build a couple of handles. You know, maybe some of this metal even, who knows. There, you know, there's going to be pieces along the edge that I could cut off, and I could like attach them to the edges, make some handles. He also requested that the handles be longer because he said it's hard to open these things. So this is probably like ABS, and it's clearly been injection molded with something. And it's a pretty hard plastic, but it's been running around a golf course for years, apparently. That aluminum will be plenty strong enough. Yep. That's the plan. Okay, so I've got this guy all dialed in to the center, and so I can move it back and forth to get my diameter. And I've kind of like marked a bunch of lines in there, slowly idling it down to where I can line this guy up really, really close by eye. And, you know, within a few thousandths. And a bunch of the center I'm going to have to take out anyway, so it'll true this circle up to the tool. But now I got to glue this on here with some super glue so I can hold it while I work on it. And I've cleaned this all off real good with denatured alcohol, including this guy. I'm going to hang this guy over here where I won't get any dirt on it. So what I got here is Star Bond, medium thick. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna get the big cap off if I can, because I don't want to dribble it out of a tiny orifice. There it goes. You got to be careful. These glues will eventually eat the bottle and they'll start coming out the bottom, you know. Okay. So there is a... Hold on, I'm going to stop for a second. So I had to get a tool, basically a paint can opener, so I could carefully pop the gasket out of that. So now I have a wide open bottle. Yeah, hanging around with a wide open bottle of super glue. So, see what a mess I can make. See, I got a little bit. Okay. Thicker in some places, thinner in others. And essentially, what I have to do now is get it carefully centered on there. This involves me probably getting in the way. So, okay, right about there. See, it floats on it in the beginning. So what I gotta do is find a way to weight it down. So far, so good. Little bit of weight at a time. After a few seconds, they'll kind of get used to being in that position. And I'm gonna put some wood on there. And on top of the wood, I'm gonna set a couple of lead weights. I can still kind of see in there, see where everything is. I don't see any movement. That's it. Now I'm gonna wait for a couple, 3 hours, maybe 5 or 6, who knows. The super glue dries out by contact with a large volume of oxygen, and it takes a long time for it to do that when it's in the middle of a wide span like that. So yeah, I got to give it plenty of time to cure up in there. It will, but it takes hours when it's not exposed to air. So yeah, see you on the flip side. Okay, it's a bit later, quite a bit later actually. And you can see that I've pulled this inner ring out to make it real close. So this opening on the tool is 20 centimeters, 200 millimeters. And this is at 19 or 96.5 right now. So it's like a little over 2 millimeters tight. And then I've gone around and indexed all these holes. So here's another bit. The tool, that guy, it's 20 centimeters across the inside diameter, and it has 12 slots. Those slots are somewhere between 5 and 6 millimeters wide. Maybe a little over a quarter inch. It's like, yeah. So 12 is a nice number because given that there's 360 degrees in a circle, and you can divide 360 by 12 and get 30, that means that all I have to do is get down here on my little scale you can see back in there, start on 0, and go 30 degrees at a time around that circle and drill the hole. Those holes is where I will plunge the bit down in there and then use the slide instead of the rotary table to move the whole deck over like 300 thousandths, 320, something like that, from first contact with this. That'll make a slot. And in this case, I'm going to do it through both pieces, the one underneath and the top one. Because when this is all said and done, and I'm done doing all my machining on this, I'm going to cut it off again. I'm trepan this out again, and then I'll have 2 tools. Why make one when you can make 2, right? I know there's 2 guys that work on the big pipes over at work, so they both would like to have a nice tool. Wouldn't we all? So I got everything I can, so I gotta cut it off. It's a little bit more of some kind of circular trepanning, whatever. Find out where I'm at. Real close. That looks about as close as I dare. There it is. Work that and set my good critter. Been there already. Okay. Go down 1/2 millimeter. Almost not deep enough. Still a little shallow. That's not bad. One more. Nice. Just got to do a little bit of deburring. So I'm notching these out so I can put a piece of aluminum in there, and then when I press it flat, it'll have a slot that'll fit in. It's not rocket science, but you know, it helps make this fit better and be a little stronger. Just like that. And I'll put it in a press and press these flat, and they'll spread out a little bit, and then I'll dress them up and make it look pretty, and then I'll mount it to the discs. Yep. That's that. Long handles, he said. He's a little old man like me. Okay. Pressing action. That's some pressing business. Oh, missing a piece. Yeah, it's a tiny little press, piece of crap. I mean, the frame's okay, but it's a old Harbor Freight. So see, I'll put that in there to maintain this dimension, you know, where I can put this handle on. And I kind of line up my lines, make sure top and bottom as close as possible. I want to get my force as much on the pipe as I can. See if I can do this. Get it close enough, maybe I have to readjust. There's this pretty close. It will straighten out when it bends if it's a little cockamamie. Looks pretty close. Little dimensional shit there. Since I'm using these big square blocks of aluminum, it kind of helps out, you know. A little off, so what I'm going to do is raise it a hair, try and get it lined up again, more square. Once it's got a bend, it's harder, but there you go. See? There's somebody yelling outside, that's weird. There it is. And then I'll take this guy and basically hit it on the floor so it seats it good. Now I'll go and I'll round off these corners, make them look pretty, and then I'm ready to mount them.